Neso berries. They are the most adorable way of releasing merchandise for your product. They're cute, they're simple, they're mass producible. That blank, soulless eyes, that eternal smile. Well, to start things off, I don't really know the history of Neso berries, nor do I really care. But the point of this video is to put this into this. If you follow me on Twitter or have seen my YouTube page, you'll know that I just finished working on a short music video for Mia Taylor on her song Lemonade. The point of this was just to get back into editing and also the fact that the latest News album are getting music videos of their own every week, so I want to create my own before the official one gets released. And hopefully by the time I release this video, it'll be right after or before the official music video gets released. One of the scenes I really want to put in was a scene featuring 3D models of Neso versions of Mia Taylor and Yuji Takasaki. It was incredibly ambitious even for my standards because I am not that good at Blender. This year I've really taken my time learning it and I hope to create more stuff with it obviously. The only experience I've really had majorly is on my editing Twitter. You can see that I did a few Blender tests by inserting Oshwa into Love Life Superstar. That was my first major experience with Blender, and yet again I'm using Love Life as a way to get back into Blender. Some things never change. So join me in this probably short journey to figure out how I truly did this. One of the first methods I tried using was photo scanning. Now this technology has evolved in the past few years, and I recently got a gift that allows me to fully utilize this powerful technology. Unfortunately, 3D scan requires a bit of finessing, and I wasn't able to get the exact scans that I wanted. I didn't have a spinning table or whatever those people had, so I had to come up with some really weird methods, but nonetheless, it turned out fruitless. And while some of the models weren't bad, it was nothing I was comfortable with putting. Maybe in the future it'll work, but unfortunately I was back to stage 1. There is one time 3D models of Neso berries were seen or released in some form, and that's Puchiguru. If you're an old Love Live fan, you probably remember this, but it died in 2019, and that's all I can say, because I never played it. Fuck! Nesos were cute though, and they were the first and only instance to my knowledge that 3D Nesos were made for the Love Live franchise. They weren't seen for a while after Puchiguru was discontinued, but they made an appearance in the Miku MV, so they live on, luckily. But back to the models. Puchiguru was a mobile app game, and people tend to rip these models, so I checked the model resources and that is not a lot, but if there's one thing I learned about ripping models is that you're most likely going to find them on DeviantArt or Steam Workshop. More specifically, Source Filmmaker. Releasing full models on a model archive page? Fuck no, dude, I gotta put this on SFM. So I found this website that allows you to download Steam Workshop stuff. Not sure if it's legal or not because it got taken down for some illegal stuff, but I swear I'm not using it that. I just want my Nesos, man. And now I finally had them. Now to install an SFM import add-on for Blender. And while this isn't necessarily a tutorial on how I did this, I will be going over some major things I did, and I do have an add-on installed that other Blender channels use that basically track what I press, so in case you want to get a general idea of what some keybinds do, looking at the bottom left screen will help you understand at least some of what I'm doing. But anyways, to Blender! First thing I need to do was actually figure out what model I was going to alter to become Mia. I chose Yo because I actually don't know. I probably should have chosen like Rico or something, but the first thing I need to do was rip the textures off the model so I could edit them. I can't explain it perfectly, but the act of plastering a 2D image on a 3D model is called UV mapping. And if you check the UV tab, select the image that the plastering is on and select the model, press tab to go into edit mode and highlight certain vertices/spots of the model, you can see what's actually being plastered. You can even highlight the specific vertices and move the UV mapping around to get some weird results. Anyway, now that we know the exact spots of what's being mapped, we can go into an image editor like Photoshop and firstly flip the image because what the hell is this? Now we gotta take a look at our Neso for reference. This is Neso. So the one thing you have to pay note to is that the proportions of Puchiguru Nesos aren't Wonder Woman real life Nesos. You're gonna have to take some liberties when creating it. They're a bit wider, and with some specific Nesos, you have to add their little quirks. For example, Mia Taylor has an earring, and I had to go to the UV map section to see exactly where the air was taking its plastering from. And when I found it, I simply put a gray square, and would you look at that? Earring. You can see I basically remade the texture into higher quality. I tried putting it through an upscale just to get a higher resolution, but it's not the best, and I'd rather have my own colors for the Nesos. There's an orange mandarin tint to all the Nesos, and that's not something that Nesos usually have, so I just prefer to have more solid colors. I go into the other images as well to edit the assets, like the skirt and the uniform. It can take trial and error to see what matches, and checking the UV mapping can help immensely on what exactly you need to change, so there's no spots that look weird or off-putting. Making the uniform was really difficult though. I didn't know what to do, and there was a bit in the scene where I was gonna make the Nesos jump together, because that's what Nesos do most of the time. Unfortunately, you would see the bottom of the Nesos, oh my god! Yeah, I didn't know what to do here. The black line you see in the Neji uniform is actually just a line I made, it's not part of the text or anything. And that's kind of embarrassing on my end, because I half-assed it. But there was something more I half-assed, and that was the hair. Firstly, I separated the hair from the texture and made it its own material. This was done so that when I inevitably started editing the hair, it wouldn't ruin the UV mapping and not have this happen. Then it was time to edit. Select object, go into edit mode, G to move, R to rotate, S to scale, good luck. and if you need to delete a verse, just select and press delete. You can either choose the points or just the size itself of one of these. This is a process that took a long time, and I only mainly changed the front and side of it. The back is actually the same because I got lazy and took a bit too much effort. It was kind of hard because I'm not used to seeing a Neso proportionally wise like this, so I had to see if it looked right. Maybe the hair was too thin, it didn't look right on all the edges. It was very hard, but ultimately I concluded with this. Looks alright. The most important thing is that it looks like Mia Taylor, okay? Then for you, I did the same thing. Changed the texture a little bit to give it a little dope smile, and the pigtails, I used Ruby models and just plastered them as so. For the pigtails, I didn't use a blended material, but rather an image texture I made myself in Photoshop. It's just a simple black and green gradient, but UV mapping, and it looks pretty good. Then I simply made a white background, added some heart particles that I learned how to do 30 minutes in, some camera work, and voila, you have Nesos. The only thing I'm really excluding are the lights in the nose and the world setting to give it a light, because without it, it's just pure black. But that's how I sub Neso scene. Well, that's it. This was really fun to make, and I'm really glad I was able to, make a video just basically tease on the progress of it. This was really fun to make, and I'm glad some people on Twitter have actually noted the 3D models, even how janky they are, and I really, really do appreciate that. It was very fun. Hopefully one day someone is able to make a better Neso of all Love Life characters. And if that ever does happen, I would like the 3D model so I can do some of my own tomfoolery with it, and of course I'll credit you. Of course, you get all the credit. You get exposure. So if everyone is willing to, yeah. Now I'm not sure how to end this video. Alright guys, today we're playing stuff for NAF Plus. First, we're gonna check the extras, because you always gotta check the extras. Alright, got Freddy Fazbear. Look at the animatronics. Foxy the Pirate. Look at the guys. He looks cool. Why are you wearing purple pants, man? I wonder what the jump scares look like.